You're listening to the Movement is Medicine show, a podcast hosted by Head to Toe Spine and Sports Therapy, a modern chiropractic and manual therapy practice in Edmonds, Washington. Now, let's get into the show. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Movement is Medicine show. In today's topic, we are going to get into the top mistakes people make when getting back into physical activity. It is fresh into 2021. People are moving more. We have goals. We just dropped a great episode on goal setting. Listen to that. You probably have a physical goal. I know I've had physical goals, and we've gotten everyone together today to talk about mistakes people make and or strategies we can use to make sure that we're not getting injured and that we're doing everything needed to get ourselves back in the groove of moving now that things are opening back up a little bit and we have some more options. So let me kick it over. Let's kick it over to Tim this time. Would love to hear from Tim. I know Tim is, of course, our CrossFit doctor, and he's the one who loves to throw down in the CrossFit style environment. And Dr. Tim oftentimes had been getting his workout in at Industrious, and now that Industrious is opening back up and fully operational and rolling out some new Halo systems, bunch of new gear. Tim, why don't you talk to us a little bit about that environment and kind of your tips and insights for people maybe who are getting back into lifting and that with that kind of intensity? What should we be doing?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's definitely something that I tend to see a lot with patients coming in. And, you know, I can even speak for this for myself this time around too, where it was, kind of a little bit through when the gyms were shut down. Cause, I love doing CrossFit. I do have some stuff at home, and I'm sure a lot of other people have been doing some stuff at home. But when you come back into the gym and all of a sudden we're able to start to do stuff with a barbell again, like, let's say like at Industrious, with the Halo system, I'm going to be able to throw around some weights again. I know I'm excited to get back into it. I'm sure many other people are excited to get back into it as well. It's a very simple thing that I've been telling some people is just like a simple phrase is really just to kind of check your ego at the door. And this is something that I've fallen short of before, because you want to get in there and you think at the beginning that, okay, like, I was doing this amount of weight before, I was pushing myself this hard before, but you really don't want to hop back into like that same intensity, especially when it comes to lifting and more complex movements in the CrossFit gym, because that is just going to be a breeding ground for injury. Okay. And it's one of those things that's kind of tough because, you are excited to get back into there. But what I would say is at the beginning, just really focus on your technique, right? It might have been a little bit since you touched the barbell. So let's go ahead and take it a little bit slower. It can be a great time starting into the new year, especially if some of your goals are around like fitness, working out, some CrossFit type stuff. You want to lift more, you want to get fitter. Really take the time to emphasize technique. Make sure that you're prepping your body well before you're getting into the gym or after you're doing workouts, especially at the beginning, because in the beginning, you are going to be more sore. Because some of these muscle groups you have not been using as intensely as you're about to, and you might have not been using them as much. Let's say you did take a little bit of time off like myself, or you just weren't having the equipment to do some of these heavier lifts. Just give yourself a little bit of grace, check your ego at the door, make sure that you're focusing on technique at the beginning and building up to the weights that you may have been doing before the recent gym lockdown. So as much as you can, try not to go in there just guns blazing and just going after trying to get to the same weights you did before. Just slow things down, focus on technique, and I promise you it'll much benefit you going forward. Not only will your technique get better, but if your technique gets better, then your lifts are going to get heavier as well, and your body is going to thank you for it.
Words of wisdom we all need to hear right now if we're picking up any kind of weights. Even if you have been trying to track down dumbbells and you finally track some down and you're getting into some weight elements even at your home workout, if you're not going to a place like Industrious and using kind of their tricked out, basically they created the ultimate garage gym and everybody has their own that they get to access when they go there. But if you're in a different environment, like your actual garage gym, the same holds true whenever we start to add weight back in. I think everything you just said, Tim, I take it personally to heart because I know that the worst thing you can do is start getting back into something. You're so excited and bam, injury happens because maybe you're a little over eager. And that is such a disheartening way to get started on your fitness journey, especially when it comes to resetting and rebooting here in 2021.
100%. It's such an easy thing to do at the beginning because you're so excited to get back into it. Like I said, I've done it myself. I've been there. I understand it. And I've gotten injured doing it before too. So it's like, yeah, just really make sure, because it might not only be barbell movements, like you said, Barry, it might be something with a dumbbell, even getting into stuff like, it might be like a box jump, any more like plyometric type movement. Really kind of take those things slower at the beginning. Like I said before, focus on technique beforehand. Make sure we're getting some dynamic type warm up in, and maybe hitting a little lacrosse ball stuff on some areas that feel tight as you're going through it. Pay attention to your body. You're probably going to be more sore than you typically would be as you're getting into these workouts. Take rest days as needed. And then I'm sure, as Dr. Ashley's going to talk about, you also want to pay attention to hydration and nutrition as you're going through that as well.
I love it. Well, Ashley, that was or Andy, go for it. But that's a good cue up. Tim queued you right up.
Great segue. So, going off of what Dr. Tim was just talking about, nutrition is a very huge part of getting our bodies moving again. I mean, essentially what we're putting in our bodies is what's going to allow us to do those things. And if we are not focusing on that aspect, then obviously we're going to feel like we're lacking something in our workouts, or we're not progressing as much as we would, or we're feeling a little bit more sore afterwards. And so being mindful and being conscious of what we're ingesting and what we're putting in our bodies is going to be very, very important. We've talked a lot about quenching in the past. I know a lot of us here at the clinic do quench, and it's a great way to stay hydrated. It's as simple as adding some citrus, some salt. That chia seed addition to your water is a great way to keep yourself hydrated, whether you just add it to your water or you're putting it in a smoothie and getting all that extra fiber from fruits and or veggies from a smoothie. Focusing on keeping your body hydrated is going to be very important for your muscles and vital organs in general. And when it comes to, eating the proper foods, this past year has probably been very tough on most people when it comes to finding those nutrients and getting it. Going to the grocery store and finding those things. People may have felt limited in that way. Doesn't mean that you need to go completely clean when it comes to your diet, but, we're being a bit more conscious of putting more nutrient-dense foods in our body. Very easy to go for the packaged section, the processed food section at Costco or, at QFC, whatever it may be. But if we want to get moving and we want to feel good when we're moving, we need to make sure that we have those nutrients within our bodies, keeping it simple: proteins, healthy fats, and carbs. Giving your body the right things, give your muscles the right things so that they can grow bigger, grow stronger, and actually move well for you. And if we're just starting out with this, say, for example, you've been good on your diet and all of a sudden you kind of went downstream and started eating more of what you were craving instead of more of what you should have been eating, that's okay. Like I said, doesn't mean you need to go completely clean. We're just putting more effort into slowly adding those things, right? Instead of focusing on cutting something completely out or counting your calories, just focus on building yourself a more nutrient-dense meal, right? Throughout the day, lunch, dinner, breakfast. But also so important to, give yourself what your body is craving, but important to find that balance. So, as we start to get moving a little bit more, we're starting to reach new goals, new fitness goals, at the beginning of the year and going forward. Just always keeping that in the back of your mind. Nutrition, hydration is also going to be very important when it comes to accomplishing those goals.
Absolutely. And I think with nutrition in particular, just like we recommend when people have an injury or a movement condition that they're trying to figure out, this is an area that dramatically benefits from having a support, a coach, a program, a process, working with a professional, working with somebody who can guide you, because it can be very complex, very challenging. And just like when it comes to fixing movement-related issues, when people come in, there can be a lot of factors that need to be intertwined and addressed in order to get the end result that you want. So even for people who are who have a lot of experience in making kind of food adjustments and changes, I still always recommend, if you're serious about creating change in this particular area of your life, get a coach, get a provider to work with, come in and see us at the clinic. We have multiple different approaches that I know, Lee, Tim, everybody has different things that they love to kind of flex into. We can help in this regard, but this is absolutely an area where it really is beneficial to have someone that you're talking to and helping you guide you along the way. So super great call out, Dr. Ashley, absolutely essential. And also one where I would just tag on and say, get help or support on this one, because it's really tough by yourself.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And there's multiple different resources people out there can utilize. And yeah, if people have any questions, patients, or people that just want some help on that kind of stuff, yeah, we have a lot of great knowledge here. And we also can help point people in the right direction, point patients in the right direction and places to look. Because starting to get your nutrition dialed in and your hydration dialed in, it can be a very daunting thing at the beginning, because you don't know where to start. You don't know exactly what you should be intaking. It's like, what's a macro? So, I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can get into in terms of nutrition, and, finding people to help guide you in the right way, finding a coach, exactly like you said, Barry, is essential if you want to get started on that.
Yeah, it's one of the foundations for sure. And I know, Andy, you've been talking a lot recently about consistency. And I know you've put out some really great stuff, even on consistency of movement, consistency of diet, and that feathers in here. But when you're thinking about movement, that consistency of movement, kind of what's your perspective on soft tissue and soft tissue mobilization? And what do you think people need to be aware of as they're looking to move more, maybe getting back into a gym type environment, or going after some kind of a fitness goal?
Yeah, it's a great one. I mean, I think really one of the things is to keep in mind is that if you've got a niggling pain, for example, you started running and you're noticing that you're feeling a pulling in your heel, that's kind of pops up when you're in mile 1 or so, or maybe you're feeling it in your walk. That's something not to ignore. It is still there, and it's still there the next day. And unfortunately, it's going to grow into something bigger. People often think things are going to go away on their own, but they probably, sadly, are not. So if you are knowledgeable with the use of a lacrosse ball, with a foam roller, don't forget the value of a soft tissue reset. By that, I mean, get in there, work that knot out of the muscle so that you can relieve tension on tendons, ligaments. So it's really important to care for those soft tissues. It's the number one way not to get injured, So pairing that, not ignoring the signals your body is giving you. Because remember, pain's the last message you're going to get, right? The injury will have been progressing, whatever overuse that is that you're doing will have been progressing until finally you start feeling that pain signal. And by then it's time to get it looked after. So if you're feeling, yeah, I'm confident and I know how to lacrosse ball my calf or shoulder, then go ahead and do that. If you don't feel confident, you know where we are here at Head to Toe. We can all help you out and get you started. So I think that's one really important thing to think about. And the other, which we've all touched on, is starting slowly, watching your form, being careful, and not jumping into where you left off when you were last in the gym.
Right. And I mean, just to kind of wrap up with all of that stuff, you got to recover well if you're going to start working out again, or else you're not going to be able to be consistent like everybody's saying. So the big things are, if it's acute injury or it's something's getting swollen, use ice. If you're getting tightness and like a hot shower, like in your neck or your back, that loosens it up, use heat. I think a lot of people kind of get like, they want to be as specific as possible, and they kind of miss the fact that the more things you do to like help promote health and recovery, the more likely you are to recover. So especially in the beginning, when you're starting to work out again, using like cryotherapy, using mobility exercises prior to movement and or after movement, both are going to be good because they're going to reinforce some recovery and like utilizing the basically the processes in your body to lay down lines of collagen and promote that healing of the muscle tissues, ligaments, tendons that you're going to be degrading while you work out. So just off that, I mean, everybody thinks about what they need to do to start working out, but once you're in it and you've already started, the recovery aspect is just as important, if not more important, just to keep consistency. I mean, I use, outside of just the quench stuff and like foam rolling, lacrosse ball, mobility, etc., I also take things like cordyceps mushrooms or reishi mushrooms. Those are really good for jump starting the liver, which that will help you process lactate, which is lactic acid, which obviously that's one of the main substrates you're going to be creating when you're working out. So think about it from a little bit even beyond just starting to work out. What are you going to do right after you're done? Like drink a protein shake or eat some food, what's this and that. So it doesn't just stop as soon as you start working out again.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I'm always taking notes when we have these calls because I always feel like halfway through, I'm like, oh man, this is me. And I'm not doing any of the things I should be doing. It's like, yeah, that's right. I should be doing that too. And I should be doing that. And it's really good. I mean, it's just, we all need reminders that one, I think a great place, a kind of a summary, listen to your body, right? Listen to your body. So whether it was Dr. Tim talking about, getting back into a gym type scenario and starting to pick some heavy weights and going slow, or whether it's like Dr. Ash, like you were bringing up with food, nutrition, hydration, right? Listen to your body. What's it telling you? It's like, if you're craving certain things, there might be some reasons why you're craving things, and there might be a need for some additional balance there. And then as Annie, as you bring up that point over and over again, it's like pain is the last thing our body hears. So if your body is starting to feel pain, chances are there's a series of things now happening that are putting you at greater and greater risk. So it needs to be addressed. Don't just sleep it off. Certainly don't pain pill it away. Do not, Advil it away. If there's something that is requiring a medication type thing like that to address that, it means for sure that it's at a spot where you probably need some treatment on it, at least start doing some research, but usually like it's a get help kind of scenario then. And then finally, I think here what you're bringing up, Dr. Lee, just feathers into that like so precisely. And it comes down ultimately to these factors that are very controllable for us, and there are things we can move the needle on, and there's things that if we need a little extra help, a little extra guidance, of course the clinic offers that, and online you can follow us along. There's so much that we have on YouTube and Facebook, but it can be a little overwhelming. So if you have specific questions, the easiest way to get help is just give us a call, give us a message, and follow along with this journey, because we're here to make sure you get the physicality that you want this year. You get your physical goals, you get your fitness goals, and that you do so feeling good, right? Because we shouldn't be in a state of pain. We shouldn't be in a state of limitation. As people, as human beings, we have incredible potential. We have this incredible power, and we should really be able to move with that grace and that fluidity and that strength and confidence and purpose. And if we're not, then we need to work on getting those birthrights restored. That's what it's all about. Bam, baby. I was fired up.
Yep.
Woo. Yeah. Woo. It's like inauguration day. I was like getting ready to get up on the pulpit. Bring it. Okay. Awesome, guys. Well, hey, thanks for joining me. Super important topic. I know I really actually did take some notes today as we were going through, because we were speaking right into where I'm at, getting back into fitness and stuff. So thank you guys for being here. Cannot wait for the next show. We'll get into some fresh, fun, cool topics as we're kicking off 2021 and doing a bunch of awesome stuff together. We're here for you if you need help. And as always, remember, movement is the best medicine. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on the next show.
Bye.
Thanks, Barry.